The dark truth about the Scientology. Extremely, extremely dark. I don't know about the Scientology actually, and I'm going to learn from this person right now with you, all of you guys. I don't know about that. And also, this is very, very dark, the Scientology. So she's going to expose all of it right now, as you're going to see. Let's watch this.
What is Scientology?
Scientology it's a belief system, but it starts out as more of like a self-help practice. Like it almost seems normal when you first start. They're like, oh, you have trouble with communication? We'll help you with that. Oh, you have troubles in relationships? We'll help you with that. But they have a curriculum where it's like you start at the bottom and you do step by step, you move up to the top. And the higher you go, the more money you pay, so the more invested you are. And by the time you get to a certain level, all of your friends and family might be in Scientology. And if you leave, you can't talk to them. They don't have a God, but they believe that each of us are spiritual beings who live lifetime after lifetime, and we pick up a new body each life. And they basically believe that because of bad things that we've done and bad things that have been done to us, we're sort of stuck in these bodies. But our spirits, which they call thetans, are really all powerful. We have all sorts of powers. We can create universes at will. But because of all of these things that we've done or have been done to us, we are now powerless and mired down. And only Scientology can basically cure us of that and bring us back to our native state. So it starts off sounding normal, but it's too late by the time you realize that it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So my parents were brought into Scientology by their own parents when they were teenagers.
So your parents were part of the Sea Org?
Yes.
I never seen Scientology actually, bro. Like it's kind of a new religion to me.
The Sea Org is Scientology's most dedicated group where...
What?
The Sea Org is Scientology's...
Sea Org is Scientology's...
most dedicated group where people sign 1 billion year contracts, basically dedicating their soul lifetime after lifetime to Scientology because they believe you come back again. Basically, they work like 140-hour weeks. They have military-style uniforms. They live communally. They eat communally. Yeah, so it's like a very insulated world, and they basically are the management for Scientology. I guess people respect Sea Org members because they're dedicating their whole life and essentially their eternity to helping people. And so, you know, they're looked at as making like the ultimate sacrifice for the well-being of mankind.
And what explanation did your parents give you for kind of not being around day to day?
Well, the explanation was that they were working and they were doing the most important job in the planet, which was like saving people. But it wasn't like they had been around and then they stopped being around. So there was very little explanation needed too, because them not being there was completely normal to me. But I think like biologically, I didn't like it. But I mean, I was essentially trained from a really young age to just shove all feelings like that down or just like suck it up and just deal with it. But I mean, I remember there was one time that like one of the teachers at the school, like she punched me in the face. And I remember I told my mom and I was debating if I should tell her or not. And I finally just did. And then she was like, oh, well, what did you do? Because in Scientology, they believe that if something bad happens to you, it's because you did something bad that made it happen. And so, you know.
It's the same law, bro. Whatever a man sows, he shall also reap. If he sows to the flesh, he'll reap corruption. That's it.
She was like, oh, well, what did you do to deserve that?
Do you remember how you felt when she said that?
I felt like it was completely normal. But I guess there was like a little bit of lingering hope that maybe it would be like, I don't know, like my mom would do something or say something, but it was just like, that's supposed to be expected.
When did you realize that your family and your name was quite an important name in the Scientology church?
I remember when I was
at
the ranch and another kid who was my friend came up to me and he was like, do you know that your uncle is COB, which means chairman of the board? And I was
Wow.
like, what's that? And he was like, it's like the boss of all of Scientology. I was like,
No
I was
way.
like, are you sure? I was like, how do you know? He was like, I know, it's true.
Boss of all
With me,
Scientology.
he was just like Uncle Dave. So up until that time, and even for
He's a person. This guy. David Miscavige. Miscavige.
many years after that time, it was like that, but I knew that he was important. I could see how people were afraid around him, how people treated him differently.
And what was he like as a person?
Well, obviously he was like very different to different people, but like when I was a kid, he was really sweet to me and he was playful and he would send me gifts for my birthday and for Christmas. And I was close with his wife, my aunt, Shelley, and like only once was he angry at me directly. But obviously I knew things that happened, like when he would meet people or they would mess up, you know, they would get sent to the RPF, which is like sort of like their, in the Sea Org, it's like the highest punishment you can get, where you have to wear all
RPF?
black. You can't speak unless spoken to. You have to run everywhere you go. And then you have to spend 5 hours a day getting intensive interrogation.
What?
And then the rest of the time you do heavy manual labor. So, you know, people after speaking to him and doing something like not bad at all, they would just get assigned to the RPF, you know, or I would hear him yelling at people from down the hallway, or, you know, I would know that people were in trouble with him. So I knew that he was scary a little bit, but he didn't act that way towards me.
And how much power does the leader of Scientology have?
Total power.
Tell me about the first time you became aware of the billion-year contracts.
When I was 7 years old, there were some adults who came from the international management base, and we were all asked to stand in a line, and it would lead to this table. And these adults were like decked out in their military style uniforms. You know, they had like bars and campaign bars and lanyards and a hat. And they were basically asking each of us to sign the 1 billion year contract. I remember them explaining it briefly, and I was like,
contract is a huge,
okay.
bro.
I was like, sounds good, because I was just like, that's what my parents had done. So it was like a big moment. I mean, it's crazy thinking back to it now, but at the time I was like, cool. It was just normal for me. There was never any other option if I wanted to be with my family, which is really just my biological urge at that time. Like, that's all I want or care about. Then I have to sign this. Otherwise, that's not going to happen. So it was like, yeah, obvious.
Was there anybody in that line that was saying no? Like, would there have been an option if you'd have said no?
I don't remember that at the time, but I do remember some cadets, because we were called cadets. We were Sea Org members in training. Some cadets who were like sort of considered the bad ones, they would say, oh, well, I don't want to be in the Sea Org. It was only like 1 or 2. And I remember being like, oh my God. I was like, what? I was like, that's horrible. Why would they say that? And they were sort of like isolated, and they would be in trouble, and they would have to do like extra heavy labor. And
wow, kind of a bondage, bro.
even sometimes we'd be forbidden to talk to them. And then they always wound up being like, okay, I'm going to stay. And then they would do amends. So it was almost like, even if I ever thought I didn't want to stay there, which I didn't really think until I was older, but I was like, well, I'd be an idiot to say it, because all that happens is you get in trouble and then you come back. There's nowhere to go, you know, unless you have family on the outside, which I guess some people do, but I didn't.
And what kind of education?
It's like, bro, like it's a kind of a trap and a kind of prison. That's what I get. You said that's a new Scientology, that's a new kind of religion that you quote unquote go. This looks like a prison, bro. And the next thing is like Ria Ramani tells about that Scientology is not a cult. It's much more worse than that. That's what he said. Let's watch what he got to say. What she got to say on this stuff. She's a woman, right? Let's watch it.
I'm not going to bore you. From the time that I was 8 years old, I was a member
8 years old.
of Scientology, an organization that is often referred to as a cult, but is more like a fascist state and cult of personality. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but Scientology engages in many of the egregious and horrific behaviors that most fascist states do.
Wow.
Scientologists are imprisoned and held against their will, families separated.
Wow.
Scientology's global intelligence agency engages in transnational repression of its members and beyond.
Okay.
Scientology engages in renditions and kidnappings.
What?
Journalists and advocates for victims face harassment and surveillance
No way.
simply for doing their
More
jobs.
than prison, bro.
Scientology also engages in multi-generational punishment.
What?
Now,
is-
while all this is happening, the U.S. government and many other governments worldwide do nothing to stop it.
So it means they know about that?
Judges do nothing to stop it. Major institutions do nothing to stop it. Scientology even managed to harass and bully its way into being granted tax-exempt status by the IRS. Now, that tax-exempt status has allowed Scientology to amass billions of dollars in cash and real estate. The tax-exempt status has also given
Wow.
Scientology a cloak of protection in U.S. courts, which has allowed it to act with impunity. Scientology is controlled by an autocratic leader who micromanages everything, is physically and psychologically abusive,
Wow.
psychopathic, petty, who has made his own family members disappear when they got on his wrong side. He has also weaponized Twitter and other social media platforms against his perceived enemies.
Wow. Kind of horrific, right? It's kind of horrific. For me, bro, it's like, it's not something a religion, bro. It's kind of a prison and much worse than prison. And I want to show you
12
that
celebrities
Scientology, that the Scientology, the 12 celebrities that are in, that we might know, that are in this Scientology new age religion. I don't know, but some kind of this religion. Yeah, let's watch this.
12 celebrities you might not know are members of Scientology. Number 1, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt dabbled in Scientology for 3 years after being
Wow.
introduced by then-girlfriend Juliette Lewis in the 90s.
Wow.
Number 2, Tom Cruise.
No
Cruise
way.
is the church's poster boy. He became involved with the church in 1990 via his then-wife, Mimi Rogers. Number 3, Katie Holmes. The actress joined the church upon her marriage to
Wow.
Tom Cruise. She left it upon her divorce with the faith's poster boy in 2012. Number 4, Nicole Kidman. Another of Tom
Wow.
Cruise's former wives, Kidman became involved around the same time as their marriage in 1990 and left the church when they divorced in the early 2000s. Number 5, John Travolta. The actor has been active since the 1970s and even got fellow Grease actor Jeff Conaway to take courses. Number 6, Elizabeth Moss. The Handmaid's Tale actress was raised in the faith and continues to practice, though she rarely discusses it publicly. Number 7, Juliette Lewis. The Natural Born Killers actress is a longtime Scientologist and vocal defender of the religion. Number 8, Christopher Reeve.
Yo.
The actor visited the headquarters in 1975, but decided not to join after reading more about Scientology. Number 9, Lisa Marie Presley. The singer was indoctrinated in the 1970s by her mother, Priscilla Presley. She left the church in 2016, but her mother and daughter remain members. Number 10, Danny Masterson. The That 70s Show star is Ray Eich's stepson and remains involved in the religion. Number 11, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith.
No.
Rumors connecting the power couple to the controversial religion abound, including Leah Remini's statements that Jada is a member. Number 12, Charles Manson. The cult leader reportedly said he followed Scientology in the 1970s.
1970. That is something like, I never seen that kind of people that was in. It was kind of shock that people are in the Scientology. Like I should, bro. Like it's a little bit. It's worse, right? It's worse. It's worse. Like you should not be like prisoning people and taking their free will. Even God doesn't do that, right? So That's what it is, chat. So many people are going this direction, and right nowadays they are creating their own religion for these things, Scientology or whatever it is, the religion that you are in, and oppressing them and creating rules. And you know, there's a verse in the Bible that I want to show you. All right, that I want to show you. This verse is describing a time in Israel history with no kings, signifying moral chaos, lawlessness, and self-centered decision-making, where people acted on personal desires rather than divine or central authority, leading to societal breakdown and spiritual decline. So this is a place where they were not, how can I say, they were not fearing God or not putting God as their first, the Israelites. Watch this. Judges chapter 17 verse 6. In those days there were no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. And also Judges 25. It says, in those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. I want you to focus. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. That's it. Everyone did what is right in his own eyes, not caring about God. That's the main problem that we are having right now. Why we cannot align with the word of God, with the very word that he is speaking of, because we are so want to do what is good in our own eyes. It is not good to God. God is the standard, and God is the one that is making the standards, because he is the creator of us all. Did you get that? What do you guys think about this stuff? Let me know in the comment. I'm out. Bye-bye.